Right, guys, let's get into it. Marky Mark, Chelsea, as of today, you've made the signings of Pedro, Gittins, you've made a few others, you've got Willian back. As of today, which is the time of recording, 21st July, how are you feeling about the 2026 season coming fresh off a Club World Cup win for Chelsea?
You just said it. The Club World Cup win. Because of that and the performance that we put in at this moment in time with the current signings that we have, I am super positive about the upcoming season. I really want to see how the whole season plans out. I am optimistic. The club, Chelsea club, have had one full year under Maresca now. They understand his formation. They understand his system. They understand his requirements. So now really is crunch time. It's game on. Gittins, super happy with that. 40 million. I think he's going to be an upgrade on Madueke. That's just my personal opinion. Nico Jackson is now falling down the pecking order. Thank God for that. We've got two ahead of him. Liam Delap, right? Who could be a future number 9 for England. Watch this space. Then we've got Joao Pedro, who, as you know, if you guys are listeners of the podcast, when he first signed him, I was a little bit disappointed that we spent all that money on Joao Pedro. As for me, he had quite a mediocre season in the 24-25 season. But watching him in the Club World Cup has got me optimistic, right? I think we need a couple more players. I think we need another attacker. If we can get a defender in and definitely need a goalkeeper, I think our summer will be done. But right now, with the signings we've made, I'm happy with it. It's just the goalkeeper. I know he's had a good Club World Cup, and I hope Maresca doesn't use that as, oh, he's great now, and we don't need to get another keeper. Don't do that, Maresca. Get another keeper. It's too risky keeping Sanchez as the first team goalkeeper for the 25-26 season. That's what I've got to say for it. What do you think about what I said? What's your thoughts?
Look, this is what viewers want to know, and I don't disagree with what you've said, but this is what viewers want to know, right? Is Chelsea's, and you touched upon it, the goalkeeper issue. Let's say you sign a goalkeeper. Is Chelsea's squad deep enough now to fight on all fronts, including the Champions League? Because before you answer that, Chelsea now will be looking to go, and there's an expectation on Chelsea, rightly or wrongly, especially after winning the Club World Cup. I've seen quite a few Chelsea fans pipe up. Don't worry, we'll get onto that. Mm-hmm. There's an expectation now that you're going to fight on multiple fronts. That means fighting for the Premier League and fighting for the Champions League. Now, let's say you get Donnarumma or another goalkeeper. Is that a deep enough squad for you to fight on both fronts and challenge on both fronts realistically?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't it be? Our squad is, if anything, or you still hear fans and pundits saying, oh my God, the Chelsea squad is too large, it is too large. But as you see with Maresca, when he first came in, he was super strict. Okay, right, these are the players that I want. The rest of them, put them to the side. I'm not even worrying about them. This is my squad, right? And he's going to have to do the same thing again with this season. He's going to have to be strict, diligent, and just do what he knows best and just pick his squad. The squad is almost complete. We do need a goalkeeper. We secure a goalkeeper, a world-class goalkeeper, a Donnarumma, a Mike Maignan, right? Even an Emiliano Martinez, I would take that at this point. I 100% believe that Chelsea will be able to fight on all 4 fronts and keep pace.
Okay. Look, you can understand, Mark, why viewers and fans from other clubs, me included, I guess, ask that question, right? Because this is the first season for this squad and this group of players over the last, 3 years that you've been building. It's their first season, first time in the Champions League for all of them, right? And on top of that, yes, you finished 4th last season, but challenging and finishing top 4, and we know all about that, is 2 different things. So with these signings, look, we'll go into it. Let's see. We'll break it down, and we're going to break down your signings and see how much of an improvement you need to make.
Well, before we get into it,
yeah. Go on.
Okay, but yeah, you're a bit skeptical. Well, hold that thought. What do you think about Chelsea? Do you think that their squad is prepared for the upcoming season? Do you think that they'll be able to fight on all fronts with all the incomings and all the outgoings that's currently happened so far? What's your thoughts?
I'm going to say no. And the reason why I say no is I think it's a really, really good Chelsea squad. I think it's very talented. But being an Arsenal fan, we've had some talented squads in the past. And I'm not saying that, one is more talented than the other, but we've had some talented squads in the past.
But you've never won
Correct.
anything in 20 years.
That's-
You've had
that's-
talented squads, whereas Chelsea's
that's my
different.
point.
That's why.
We've had talented squads, and now you're looking at a talented squad. No, Chelsea, when they were winning stuff, had big marquee players. You had big names, and you had big managers as well. Big names as managers. Now,
Facts.
what I'm saying is, my point being is exactly what you're saying. We didn't win anything in 20 years, and we hardly ever challenged. In fact, we never challenged. Let's be honest, spade to spade. And I see this Chelsea squad, not saying the same as the Arsenal squads that I've seen in the past.
No, you
but
can't
I do
say
see
that.
It. I do. I'm not saying that, but I do see it as a talented squad without the leaders and the big players, the names needed to drag you deep into the Champions League and for a title challenge. Now, as much as I love Cole Palmer, he's still young, he's still raw, he's still 2 years into his career, 3 years into his career. There's no Drogba's, there's no Lampards, there's no Terrys that I'm seeing right now. And even when you first won the title, before you'd won the title, you knew Terry was a leader. You saw Lampard, you know Drogba was going to be big, and you had Petr Cech. And I'm not saying you've got to have those players again, but I'm seeing it as night and day between what you had and what you have right now, which is a talented bunch of players, a manager who's decent, but I don't hold him in elite conversations. You put all that together, plus at this moment in time, you don't have a world-class goalkeeper. I don't see it as good enough to challenge for the Premier League. I could be wrong. But so far,
I think you are.
I could be. But what makes you convinced? Because João Pedro, okay, look, as I said, good Club World Cup, scored a couple of goals against Flamengo, and you've got Gittins
And PSG.
and he scored a goal against PSG, and you've got Gittins, and then you've got the lap up top. Which of these signings are we saying as, you know what, that is a signing that really moves the needle? You're probably going to point to Pedro, but I don't know if that's enough at the moment. I don't know if I've seen enough from. I'm not going to base it just on a Club World Cup.
That's
I'm
fair.
sceptical for those reasons, Mark. But I don't know. You tell me.
Firstly, you can't compare it to Arsenal. And yeah, Arsenal have had talented squads. But the thing is, like, Chelsea already won under Maresca. It's true. Maresca is not fully, you can't class Maresca as world class because he just doesn't have enough experience. But he is a winner. No one can take that away from Enzo Maresca. You know, I'm actually not the biggest fan of Enzo Maresca. But because of what he's done, first season, won the championship. Okay, you won it with Leicester, the best, most expensive team in the championship. He was supposed to do that. But you can only do what you're supposed to do. He won it. Because of that, now he gets promoted to Chelsea, one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not definitely one of the biggest clubs in London. First season, won the Conference League. Okay, it's a dead league, but you can only do what you have to do. You won it. Then, of course, he's now just won the Club World Cup, beating PSG. Beating PSG not only gives us the confidence, but it gives us the belief that we can compete with the biggest teams in the Champions League. Right? Maresca's only got 2 years. Let's see what he actually does now. Now he's got 1 year under his belt working at Chelsea. This will be his first time that he will have a second season that he gets to work with the team. He's now bringing in the players that he sees fit to complete his squad. And the way he'd want, the players that he wants, they're all versatile. There's not like one number 9, well, apart from Nico Jackson and apart from Liam Delap. The rest of them are all interchangeable. These are the style and type of players that he wants to build his perfect squad, right? Last season, we finished 4th, right? We should have finished higher. It's only because they had that big blip. Do not also forget, yeah, we were about 1 game away from being level on points with Liverpool by December. We had a couple of key injuries in our spine. It disrupted everything. Hopefully that doesn't happen. These are all positive signs, bro. Right? And that's why I think you can't compare it to Arsenal. Let's see. I don't think they're going to win the league, but they should be at least challenging or being around there. That's my thoughts.
Perfect. All right, we're going to come back to this, Mark, because I've done a bit of research and I'm going to bring some data to the table because you know me, I'm a
Okay.
numbers guy. You're a numbers guy as well. And I want to get your thoughts on it. But let's move on before we go on to that. Guys, let us know in the comments if you agree, by the way, so far. Are Chelsea going to challenge next season on multiple fronts? Is their squad quality enough? Is it deep enough? Yes, it's a big squad, but is it good enough? Let us know. Right, Mark, on to Arsenal. We've made some improvements on our side, I would say, and I don't think our window's complete like yours are as well. I think both clubs might still have another signing at least in them. But as of today, We're going on 21st of July, time of recording. We've got Zubimendi through the door. We've got Norgard through the door. We've got Kepa through the door. It looks like we've got Mascherano coming through the door, the centre-back from Valencia, to bolster our defence. And then it looks like Gyökeres is going to come to us as well. And
don't forget Madueke.
And Madueke, apologies. Yes, and Madueke. So we've got Madueke. So we've been very busy. Gyökeres should be coming through the door. And then potentially, again,
Hopefully.
like I said, we're still linked with Eze.
Bro, very quickly,
Yes.
yeah. You know that Gyökeres is not complete, and you know.
I know.
Okay, I know this is not a transfer news podcast, but I do have to say, because I really want to know what you got to think. There's now news, yeah, that Gyökeres is looking a little bit difficult for whatever reason. They can't get it over the line. Mikel Arteta has now said we need to look at Nico Jackson if they cannot close Gyökeres. And I know that you are a big fan of Nico Jackson. Okay, what is your thoughts on that? Because I am sure the people would like to know, especially because you've been slagging off Nico Jackson for the past year and 2-3 months.
Honestly, if we don't get Gyökeres and then Arteta goes to Nico Jackson, you may as well pack his bags now. Pack his bags now. I don't think Arteta would do that to us. I just think,
bro, he could. He got Madueke.
Backward step.
You can't say that about Arteta. He's so unpredictable.
Yeah, but he's also got in Zubimendi. He's trying to get in Gyökeres. I can't see him swapping out Gyökeres for Jackson. If it happens, I will change everything that I'm about to say. But I don't see it happening. It would be a disgraceful move. But I think Gyökeres will happen. I do think there's always going to be... the longer it takes to get it done, the more rumours fly about, right? Like, oh, they're back in for him. And, well, what happens if we don't get him? I think we'll get him. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident he won't go to United. But that aside, notwithstanding, have Arsenal made enough improvements to the squad to challenge, same as Chelsea, close the gap and realistically challenge for the title next season? Now, I'm asking this question thinking Gyökeres is coming to us, by the way, not Jackson.
Yeah, that's very good that you said that. Without Gyökeres, bro, I don't think you have any chance. I think that you'll fight and then you'll be that 1-2. You'll be first or second or third and you'll fluctuate between those sort of rankings and then you'll fall off as Arsenal always do. And I think that you agree with me. Before I carry on, do you agree with what I just said? You don't have Gyökeres. I don't think you have much chance to actually close it because all the other teams have strengthened massively.
If we don't get Gyökeres and we don't, absolutely. If we don't get Gyökeres and we don't buy a number 9, or the number 9 we get is Jackson, no challenge. No challenge.
Yeah.
No challenge.
Of course.
No challenge.
Of course. If you get Gyökeres with the squad that you have right now, I think that you will be up there. But I'm not a fan of your left-hand side. You've signed Madueke for 50 million. You guys got bumped again. That's my opinion, right? I'm not a fan of that signing if I was an Arsenal supporter, and I know a lot of Arsenal supporters do not approve of that. That's why there was this petition, etc. You need someone else on the left. You need an Eze or Rodrigo. Yeah, that's what I think, like. But with Gyökeres, he's a game changer. It just depends on how quickly he is able to adapt to Arsenal's requirements, Arteta's management, and of course how quickly he will adapt to the Premier League, because he's been playing. All footballers and their mum and their dog know this. Getting accustomed and adapting to the Premier League, it might not happen in the first season, but I still believe if you close Gyökeres, he will be your game changer and he will be probably your best chance of tipping you over the line. But will he adapt quick enough? That still remains to be seen. But you can do it. I don't think you'll win the league. I don't think he'll win the league because you've got Liverpool and they look scary. They've got Hugo Ekitike, who looks like they're about to sign. You've got Wirtz, is probably one of the best attacking midfielders. They've still got Mo Salah, who still should probably be up for Ballon d'Or. Bro, they've got some players and they have cohesion and they're still a scary. Then you've got Man City, right? That I'm sure Pep that will want to do something about that abysmal season, which I think him and the rest of Man City would call it abysmal because there were so many gaps last season where they just did not turn up. I'm sure he would like to make amends on that. Then you have Chelsea, right? Yeah, we're not gonna challenge, but we are going to affect the title race. I think we'll have a much bigger impact playing the bigger teams next season than we have previously done in the past 3 seasons. I don't think that If I had to bet money, I would not put it on Arsenal, even if they sign Gyökeres. What's your thoughts about what I just said?
Yeah, I think all of that's fair. And that actually brings us on nicely to our next point. And I will give you my thoughts in more detail as we go on. But my next point was going to be, what does City and Liverpool's transfer activity mean for both our clubs, Arsenal and Chelsea? Because yes, okay, we can look at this from a binary point of view and, hey, Arsenal have done this and Chelsea have done that. But there's two other clubs who are bigger and better than us and have been for the last 7-8 seasons.
100%.
Facts. In fact, they've shared the last 8 Premier League titles between them, or 7, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So their activity, I want to talk about their activity. You mentioned Liverpool. They've gone and got Wirtz. By all means and all accounts, a generational talent, right?
Yes.
They've now gone and got Hugo Ekitike. We're going to talk about him more later and also in our future podcast. They've gone and strengthened. They've also gone and got Kirkers. They've improved at left back because Robertson was shot to pieces.
Who's that right back they got? Frimpong. They've also got Frimpong to replace Trent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they've gone and they've strengthened both fullbacks. Well, they haven't strengthened both fullbacks. They've replaced the right back and they've strengthened at left back. And then they've gone and got Wirtz. And by the way, and I know we'll cover this in our transfer news, they're also linked to Rodrigo, right?
Yes, they are.
And that can realistically happen because there's another player from there that's leaving potentially. It looks like he's going on his way out, Luis Diaz. Here's my thing. The activity that Liverpool have done, to me, on paper looks world class. It looks brilliant, actually. There's a slight caveat to it, and I will talk about that. Then there's City. And I think you rate City's activity. But their signings aside, the caveat to City is there's no Kevin De Bruyne anymore, right? One of the best players ever to play in the Premier League. He's got a shout for being in the all-time Premier League 11. Most people that I know have him in there. You've got Rodri coming off. There's another unknown in Rodri coming off a long-term injury. There's another unknown in how Phil Foden's going to bounce back, although you and I both believe he's quality enough to bounce back.
Yes.
There seems to be a lot of things for Pep to fix there. Or is there, bro? Is there a lot for Pep to fix? Because I'm actually, there's some unknowns there. But I'm about to go into something with the data that suggests maybe there isn't as much as we think there is for Pep to fix. By the way, just quickly on his signings, if you're a City fan or even as an objective looking at it as a neutral, what do you think about City's transfer activity? Good, bad, in between?
Let's run through who they've got. Cherky, who I'm a massive fan of. I think they're going from Lyon. We're going to see some exciting stuff from him. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do because I think he's going to be a massitive upgrade on Doku. But who else have they got? Remind me.
They got Reinders in. So Reinders will go into midfield with Rodri.
Yeah.
The big thing, Mark, is that they've made a couple of good signings and everyone's excited about Reinders and everyone's even more excited about Cherky. But how's Rodri going to bounce back? Because surely a lot rests on this guy's shoulders, isn't it? He's been out for a year, Mark. They never lose a game when he's playing.
Yes.
He's 1 year older and he's coming back off a serious injury. Like, surely a lot depends on how he bounces back, or am I putting too much emphasis on it?
No, you're making valid points because Rodri, as you said it, like when he's fit and playing, if you look at the stats, the team does not lose. He's out for the whole season and they capitulated. But I think there's other things that they need to do. Yeah, you have to worry about Rodri. We don't know how he's gonna come back. Eden Hazard went to Real Madrid, had a big injury. If you see his podcast afterwards, after he retired, he was saying I had this big injury in Real Madrid and I couldn't shake it off. I just didn't come back the same player. So that's why I carried on eating. I was like, all right, cool. I mean, do what you got to do. You're still getting paid. But the whole point is when you have a big injury or even a small injury, which looks small, it's actually a big thing because a lot of players do not come back the same. So the jury's still out on Rodri. But I really think for Manchester City, their transfer activity is not done firstly. There's still about a month to go. Or just over a month. Secondly, I think the main thing which he needs to fix is Manchester City's mentality. I think that's what it is. I think he needs to reset them, reinvigorate them, just reignite them again. And I think that is really down to Pep because he still has amazing players all over the pitch. You still have Haaland. Right, you still got Marmoush, who is now, he's been a few months in the Premier League, and during that time, he pretty much lit it up. When Haaland was on firing, he stepped into the frame and almost saved their Champions League spot. You could put it on Marmoush. He's got the points for them. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen now in his second season is going to be adapted. He's going to have a pre-season. He's going to be a game changer. They've got Cherky, bro. I think it's the mentality and rewiring his whole team and reigniting them again, because he's won so much. It's hard to motivate these players. I think also he needs to ship off a couple of players like Gundogan, like Bernardo Silva. They're not the players that they once were before. And maybe they've got nothing to fight for. Maybe they're thinking, oh, I've won everything, and it's Manchester City, my family are happy here, but I've won everything and I could just carry on doing what I'm doing. Like, you want hungry ass players like Marmouches that are talented coming into Manchester City with the fight in their mind. Putting maximum effort, 100% every game, not taking nothing for granted. That's my opinion.
You touched upon something really interesting there. We're going to go into it now. By the way, they've also got Neely at left back from Wolves, I believe.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good signing, actually.
Yeah.
But, it's an interesting one. You touched upon something there. Mentality. It's time for Neely's numbers. And when we go through Neely's numbers, you're saying Pep needs to reinvigorate them, reignite them. Has he already started doing that? Right. I'm gonna go into the data. Now, Mark, we know, I want you to stick with me on here. We know Liverpool won the title last season. They won it at a canter. Pretty good. All right. Absolutely fine. And Chelsea tailored off from December. Arsenal never really got going. City just fell off a cliff after Rodri got injured. So what I've done, because I thought it'd be quite interesting, and I'll tell you why I've done this. I've taken the back end of the season when the title wasn't done. So I haven't taken the last 5 games when the title was done and Liverpool were coasting, whatever. I've taken the last 20 games because I think that's a hefty sample size. The back end, the running of the second half of the Premier League, right, of the season. And that's quite a sizable sample for what I'm going to go through. So I've taken the form of the top 4 teams for the last 20 games. Liverpool, in their last 20 games, bearing in mind they hadn't won the title at this point yet, 11 wins, 6 draws, 3 losses.
Yeah.
They picked up 39 points. Arsenal, who finished second, 8 draws, 2 losses, 38 points, 1 less than Liverpool. City's last 20 games, 13 wins, more than anyone else. 4 draws, 3 losses, 43 points. That's their last 20 games. And Chelsea, 10 wins, 4 draws, 6 losses. By the way, that's 7 losses if you count the last 21 games. We're going to touch upon that. 34 points. The data suggests that actually City are carrying the most momentum into next season, not Liverpool. And the reason why I didn't do the last 5 games is Liverpool had already won the title. They would have started coasting. 20 when the title wasn't done. City, weirdly enough, well, weirdly or not, you might not think it's weird, are carrying the most momentum. Now, before I throw it over to you, why is that important and why have I done that? We just spoke about Pep needing to reinvigorate them. When was the last time City were in a position like this? It was in Pep's first season at City, right? They finished 4th. But if you look at their run in their last 19 games, they went on a very similar run, but no one really spoke about it. They won a lot of games, but because Chelsea was still storming away with the title, that's the year you last won it under Conte. Pep went on this run. No one spoke about it because they finished 4th. And then what did they do the following season? They wiped the floor with everyone. And a lot of that, people now point back to, was the momentum they took into that from the last 19, 20 games of the previous season. I've said a lot there. What are your thoughts before I continue in terms of what I've gone over there?
I think the main piece of context that people need to take into consideration with last season's reinvigoration from Pep's team is that they never had Champions League. They were out in the group stages. I think you cannot underestimate that because now full focus was on the league. What do you think
Very
about
fair.
what I just said?
Yeah,
but bro,
very fair.
Like, there are contexts involved, right? And
yeah, they went out in
you got Marmouche as well. Exactly. Maybe before that. I don't think they got past the group stages. I know whenever the group stage, they lost out to PSG. PSG and Man City had a terrible run during the group stage and prior to that. It was only when PSG beat Man City that they just went on some crazy form run and they just beat everyone in their path, right? But that Man City, that was the group stage. I'm pretty sure that was before the beginning of the year. Don't quote me. Let us know in the comments down below. But I know that Man City went out in the group stages in the last game because that was the make or break. And then, you have all the effort. All your best players, you focus on the league and you try and get back into because a lot of damage has been done like in the first half of last season. They needed to get back
Correct.
into rhythm. So I think that's important that people. Regarding the first season of Pep, I mean, geezer, that was his first season. He has a reputation for being a demanding manager, for being very meticulous about his positional play, about how the players are supposed to stay in their position and move. It's so complicated, Pep's system, right? So it takes a little bit of time for that squad to adapt to Pep's requirements and the Pep's ways of playing. That's my initial thoughts about why his first season, it took him a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of time to get your point across, to get your views across. But Man City, I mean, you've just said it. I'll round up my point is he got the most amount of points in the last 20 games of last season. It doesn't surprise me. And that's because, you've got Marmoush in now, right? You've got no Champions League. So those are the reasons why I think that he had you never know, like Pep must be screwing at them, bumming them, whatever he's doing behind the scenes. Like, yo, we need to make Champions League. Take your head out of your arse and get with it. And, if you watch Manchester City's All or Nothing on Prime and stuff, you get a glimpse of how Pep Guardiola is in the changing room, the demand, the intensity, the meticulous details that this guy is working with, not just on formation, not just on the other teams, but of course with his own players. So, bro, don't be surprised. That's what I'm saying, geezer. Yeah, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. I said it before in previous podcasts. I think we need to beware of Pep Guardiola because I don't think this could be his last season as well. And if it is, he will know he has to end with a win. So what do you think about what I just said?
Yeah, I think it's a great point you made. Champions League. With this new format, Mark, they did carry on into this year, but it was still early this year. So it was like Jan, I think it was Feb when they went out. But still, you're absolutely right. They went out of the Champions League. The reason why I brought up his first season is you're absolutely right? It takes time to acclimatise, but he already started doing it in the second half of the season. People they were sleeping on it. And I'm wondering if there's certain people, because of what Liverpool did last season, if they're sleeping on what Pep has done in the last 20 games of last season. Because out of Champions League, you're absolutely right, but also missing Rodri, who was the Ballon d'Or winner. So, and
massive,
a key part
you're
of
right.
Chelsea. So, key part of City, sorry.
Man City, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the reason why I brought those numbers up, the top two
Good
boys
stat.
on those numbers are City with 13 wins and Liverpool with 11 wins. So the last 20 games of last season, City and Liverpool are 1 and 2. 3 and 4, and lagging slightly, are Arsenal and Chelsea. Now, the reason why I bring this up is we've almost got to do more work, and actually Chelsea are a bit more adrift. So we're 1 point less than Liverpool and 5 less than City. Chelsea are 9 points off City, right, in that last 20 games. Now, the reason why I bring this up is Arsenal and Chelsea more in particular, to title challenge next season, have got their work cut out because they're actually already starting slightly behind. We didn't finish as strong as Liverpool and City. And people that are sleeping on City because they finished third, and Arsenal fans who think, well, we finished above City already. Well, they finished stronger than us. And without Rodri, who's now coming back. And again, we don't know what version of Rodri's coming back, but he's going to be a version of himself, and he's still a top player. So, and Chelsea, 6 losses, 7 out of the last 21. That's a lot. And you still haven't replaced the goalkeeper. So what I'm saying is Arsenal, and in particular Chelsea, we almost have to do more work this window to bridge the gap to Liverpool and City. People are seeing it as like, we need to bridge the gap to Liverpool. Well, actually, guys, we need to bridge the gap to City and Liverpool, and actually more predominantly City. And that is why I actually think you're right. We need to be wary of Pep. Looking at the data, and I'm a data guy, if I'm taking my Arsenal cap off, we've done some great business. And I do think if we get Gyökeres, we're definitely closing the gap. I do agree with that, because that is something that no one else is doing. Getting a number 9 of Gyökeres' level. Haaland is already there, and Liverpool getting Ekitike, and you guys have got Pedro, and you got Willian. You've got Pedro, right? Who's going to play up then Delap. So I do think Arsenal are closing the gap, but I do think Chelsea also. Yeah, go on.
Let me ask you, how many points between, you said the last 20 games, how many points are Liverpool behind Manchester City? Because you said Man City have the most amount of points last 20 games. How many points behind are Liverpool?
4. 2 less wins. Yep.
Yeah, look, there's another context to that. The last few games.
They won the league.
They won it.
Last 5 games.
Right. Well and truly, yeah, I do believe if they hadn't won the league and they played Chelsea, Liverpool should have beaten us. Right, so that's already 3 points. Right, I can't remember the rest of the other games, but that's the other piece of content. They took their foot off the gas at the end when they won it.
It's a great point.
And we have to consider that as well. So maybe Liverpool, if they put maximum effort, like like Man City did all the way to the last game of the season last year, maybe they would have more points than Manchester City. We also have to take into consideration. But of course, look, it's all ifs and buts, right? But you're exactly right when you said it. I think the biggest challenges, and if I had to put my money on it, wouldn't be Chelsea or Arsenal. It would be Liverpool and Manchester City. And you know what? Even with Wirtz, even Hugo Ekitike, my money would still be on Manchester City.
Fair. Actually, you know, we've gone through this before, and I think we've spoken in a previous pod before we looked at the data there. You know, I've gone, okay, cool, yeah, I'm just about backing us to win the title. But realistically speaking, we really do have a gap to close, both Arsenal and Chelsea. Both of us do. And I think, I'm not sure now, if you're asking me to push and having looked at the data and who's coming back, Rodri coming back, and Pep, he doesn't go 2 seasons without winning a title, right? So I agree with you. I think Pep your favourites.
Yeah, okay. Look, we're gonna close. We're gonna land the plane. But before we do that, very, very interesting is, give me your, right at this moment in time, you got no Gyökeres. Give me your top 4. How is it going to look?
Gyökeres.
Who's going to win? No Gyökeres. Because you ain't got him. And you might, it's not 100% secured. You got no Gyökeres. Who's first, second, third, and fourth?
City first, Liverpool second. Toss up for third between Arsenal and Chelsea, because Chelsea got Champions League football and they haven't had Champions League football before, and we managed it last season and still finished second. I'll go for us third, and I'll go for Chelsea fourth, even though you've got Champions League football and the Premier League to focus on, which I do think is going to take its toll. And you've got Maresca. Newcastle have also got Champions League football because they finished fifth. And so for that reason alone, I do believe that you guys will finish fourth, even though I think they keep hold of Isak as well. So I'm going to go pretty similar top 5. I don't know if anyone breaks into that top 5. And if someone does break into that top 5, it's fifth that's up for grabs. And I don't know if Newcastle get replaced by anyone, because I don't really back Villa either. I don't know who else in Spurs. I don't know. New manager coming in, maybe not. He'll make them more solid, that's for sure. Same question to you, buddy. Bring it.
No, I totally agree. It will be Manchester City. If I'm betting man, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. You haven't got no Gyökeres. Chelsea will finish above you. That's how I'm looking. I mean, look, guys, what do you think? I'm sure we've said some outlandish statements to you guys, and you're like, so a few in the comment, oh my God, you're not a bunch of knobs and this and that, you don't know nothing. Yeah, okay. Let us know in the comments down below. We're going to respond to every single one of you guys. And if you want to see more of our content, click this video right here and we see beautiful people in the next one. Make sure to subscribe in the next one, guys.